Hello and welcome to another edition of 10 Count. I'm your host, Michael Montero, joined by Mr. Doug Fischer of Ring TV and Mr. Mike Baca of UCN Live. Guys, ESPN and Top Rank have partnered with a big deal. Their first fight between Manny Pacquiao and Jeff Horn did record-setting numbers. It was the highest-rated boxing broadcast on ESPN since 1995. And in August, we have two fantastic matchups. Now, on August 5th, Vasyl Lomachenko puts his title on the line against Miguel Marriaga. On August 19th, they're unifying the complete junior welterweight division. Terence, Crawford, Julius, and Dongo, the road warrior, going head-to-head in Nebraska. Let's start with the matchup on August 5th. Doug, everyone wanted to see Vasyl Lomachenko fight. Well, some people wanted to see him fight Guillermo Rigondeaux.
Sure.
A lot of people on Twitter wanted that. But a lot of people thought we were going to see him fight Orlando Salido. And now he's fighting a guy coming off a loss to Oscar Valdez. Is this kind of a letdown, this matchup, to you? Or based on styles, should this be a good fight?
Listen, Miguel Marriaga is a solid junior lightweight contender. I think he showed us a lot in that Oscar Valdez fight. I think that fight was closer than the official scorecards indicated.
I agree.
I really felt like Valdez needed to drop the Colombian in the 10th round to kind of pull ahead and take control of the fight. So that lets you know, going into the 10th round against a young stud like Valdez, Marriaga was right there with him. Now, having said that, there's a gulf of talent and experience. Even though Valdez has more professional fights than Lomachenko, because of Lomachenko's incredible amateur background, he's just head and shoulders above every other junior lightweight out there. So I don't believe that Marriaga can compete against Lomachenko the way he competed against young, still learning, still developing Oscar Valdez. I think he can make it a fun fight, but what we really have on August 5th is an ESPN showcase for Vasyl Lomachenko. I'm okay with that. Lomachenko is generally off the radar for general sports fans and even casual boxing fans. Hardcore boxing fans know him and love him, and that's why they want to see him in against even a Rigondeaux, even though Rigondeaux hasn't fought over 122 pounds. Rigondeaux is viewed as an elite boxer. They want to see Lomachenko in huge matchups against fellow pound-for-pound players. Obviously, Marriaga is not that, but obviously I don't think that the August 5th show is going to get anywhere near the ratings of a Manny Pacquiao fight. Right. However, I do think there are some casual sports fans who tuned in to the Pacquiao-Horn fight that have heard about this fight, and they're going to check it out. Fans who would not have watched Lomachenko-Marriaga had that fight taken place on HBO. So I think this is good for boxing.
And part of this deal with Top Rank and ESPN is ESPN actually promotes the fight.
Yeah, they push it.
Right? So you're going to see this on SportsCenter. They're going to be talking about Lomachenko as this pound-for-pound phenom. Mike, how do you see the fight actually playing out? And does Lomachenko have to stop Marriaga to get some interest going with casual fans?
People love knockouts. I think that's clear. And people want to see the knockout. And hopefully Lomachenko can do that and do it definitively and not have or force their opponent to just quit like Walters did.
Nicholas Walters.
Have a referee come in and stop it for Sosa. People want that knockout, like that Roman Martinez knockout.
Exactly.
That's what gets the people coming back. This will be interesting. I agree with Doug completely on this matchup. Much respect to Marriaga. He put in a great effort against Valdez. That's at featherweight, though. We're moving up in weight. I don't know if his power can exactly.
That's a good point. You're right. That was
translate to 130.
These are two real featherweights, though, fighting at 130.
Sure.
Right? Because
Lomachenko could probably still make 126.
Easily.
Sure.
Easily.
Sure. Yeah. But besides that, I think Lomachenko is just a complete level above Marriaga, and we're going to see that. It's going to be interesting to see if he can entertain on his own. Lomachenko
in a virtuoso performance.
Because he's headlining here.
There's fighters out there that can do that. Roy Jones is one of those fighters who just by himself, you just wanted to watch him. Right. And I think Lomachenko has a talent to do that.
Sure.
But with
does he have the one-hitter quitter
exactly.
that Roy Jones Jr. had at middleweight and super middleweight?
We'll see.
I don't think he does. I think he's got everything else. I mean, he's amazing. He's got the athleticism. He's got the poise, the balance, the reflexes. He's got the technique. He's got the boxing IQ, obviously, but one-punch knockout power? No. No, not against the guy with a chin as reliable as the Colombians.
That's why it would be, the thing about Marriaga is style-wise, he's going to come forward. He's going to bring the fight to Loma. So there's going to be counter-punching opportunities. It would be very impressive if Loma could get a stoppage here. But I agree with you guys. It's probably going to the cards. But assuming Lomachenko wins, which he should, what's next for him? Should he fight again by the end of this year? If he comes out with no scrapes, no scratches?
Of course.
Now listen, what Top Rank does with Lomachenko is going to say a lot about their relationship with ESPN. At some point with Lomachenko, Top Rank's going to have to entertain the idea of having Lomachenko fight against fighters who are promoted by other companies.
Absolutely.
Just outside of Top Rank. Can they do that? Now, they're doing that on August 19th with the junior welterweight showdown between Terence Crawford and Julius Indongo, and that's great. That's for all the marbles at 140 pounds. Indongo is promoted by Eddie Hearn, so he's doing it with Crawford. He's got to do it for Lomachenko. Lomachenko can't have more than one showcase fight. I mean, have one showcase, that's great, introduce him to a new audience, but then he's got to fight in significant matchups. Can they go to, say, the winner of Burchelt-Miura and say, okay, let's do a unification? I don't know. Will Burchelt want to be an HBO player? Will Burchelt's promoters, will they work with Top Rank? I think maybe they will. I think Burchelt is promoted by Zanfer, and they do have a past relationship with Top Rank. But the bottom line is Bob Arum, the CEO of Top Rank, he's going to have to create bridges outside of his own company if he's going to truly move Lomachenko into the stratosphere that people believe that he belongs in.
I think, Golden Boy Promotions, they have a relationship with ESPN. They do a deal with them right now, right?
So maybe Jezreel Corrales, the WBA title holder.
Should he come out victorious in his next fight, I think that would be an obvious one, right? So there's potential there. I agree. It's good. We're going to find out what the intentions of Top Rank are going forward just by the matchups they make. You get this one layup, and it's not a layup. Marriaga's not a layup, but in the eyes of casual boxing fans, it's kind of a layup. But from there, we're going to want to see more. Let's skip ahead a couple weeks. Crawford and Dongo. A lot of people feel that Crawford is going to walk right through Indongo. And I feel Indongo poses some stylistic challenges. He's tall, he's a southpaw.
Very
he gets
rangy.
in and out very fast with that length. Mike, how do you see this fight playing out?
It's kind of funny. The odds are going to reflect as Crawford and Dongo and Lomachenko Marriaga. The odds are probably going to be the same. Giant odds for Crawford and Lomachenko. But in this matchup, I'm extremely excited for it. Perhaps maybe even a little more than I should be. Because I love stories like Julius Indongo.
Yes.
He came out of nowhere last November when he knocked out Troyanovsky in Moscow. Did it in the first round with one left hand, knocked him out cold.
KO of the year candidate.
Awesome. That was literally the only way he could have won it either.
That's true.
Then he follows it up with Ricky Burns
in Scotland.
Right?
Yeah.
Which, Ray Beltran will tell you, it's not easy to exactly get a decision, but he did, and he did it definitively.
Yeah, he was so dominant. They could not rob him there. And he also showed us that he's a distance fighter.
Yes, he can
box.
And
he can box a disciplined fight. So Michael, when you ask how do we see the fight, I think it's competitive because I think if you look at the early rounds with Terence Crawford against really athletic fighters, guys with good speed, they can steal some rounds from him. Guys who aren't as good as Indongo. Even his first two rounds against Victor Postol, tall, very rangy like Indongo, but not as athletic as Indongo, and not with that right stick, that jab. He basically dominated Ricky Burns with that jab and punished him with it. Now, there's a big difference between Ricky Burns and Terence Crawford. I do favor Terence Crawford in this fight. He's one of those guys, he's a chameleon. He can sort of adapt his style to any other style. He finds a way to win, and then he puts it on his opponent. But I think it's going to take him a while with Indongo. And I think Indongo, over the first 6 or 7 rounds, he can win some rounds. Who knows? He might even be up on the scorecards. And then I think it gets very interesting.
I think, Crawford has faced guys who are shorter than him but athletic and looked well. He's faced guys that are taller than him but not quite that athletic and looked well. He hasn't faced this combination. And I've seen some holes in his game against taller fighters. So I'm really interested, and I'm not calling an upset special. I favor Crawford by decision, but going into the championship rounds, this fight's going to be up for grabs. That's my call on this
one. That's a huge statement.
I think that'd be great for ESPN and Top Rank. I'll tell you that, especially because on this platform, they get a chance to kind of explain to the casual fan what these belts are all about. Now we have all four coming together, which is something I applaud. Any unification fight, I'm down for, and I'll never, poo-poo.
And this is a total unification.
This is complete unification.
Is every major belt, including the Ring Magazine Championship. And when's the last time we've had that? Bernard Hopkins?
Yeah.
At middleweight?
Yeah. That was it.
That was 2005.
Doesn't happen often.
Absolutely.
So over a decade. Then let's assume that Crawford gets out of here with the win, right? He's the guy at 140. He already is now, in our opinion. I think we'd all agree he's the man at 140. But now he's going to solidify it with this win. Is it time for him to go to 47 after this fight?
Well, who else is out there at 140? There's nobody. Who's he going to fight?
There's not many.
Nobody
wants
options. To see him fight. I don't know, Antonio Orozco. That wouldn't be fair to Orozco. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who else is out there? There's that Prograis kid. I like him.
I like Prograis.
He's not ready.
He's not ready yet. So what does he do? Does he just wait around for these guys? Okay, maybe if there's no big fights at welterweight. But again, it goes back to what I said about Lomachenko and what Bob Arum has to do to make this partnership between Top Rank and ESPN successful. He's going to have to go to other promoters. And despite his feelings for Al Heyman, I think he's going to have to work it out with Heyman, because Heyman has most of the world-class welterweights. He's got Keith Thurman.
That's where I was going to go.
It's kind of the same situation.
He's got Errol Spence Jr.
All the welterweights.
He's got Sean Porter.
And it's not going to be Pacquiao. Pacquiao, we saw what happened with Horn. No way he's going near Crawford, which we didn't think was going to happen.
Well, anyway. I don't want to see that now.
No.
So, yeah, and then Lomachenko and Crawford, I've heard some people talk about that. No, that's just too much size difference. But I'm really excited for this fight. And I think, for Crawford, Top Rank's been trying to get him over the hump and make him their new guy, their new American star. I think that this fight it's not going to make him a crossover star, obviously, but it starts that process. It puts him in front of millions of homes. It's up to Crawford to perform. But real quick before we go, if you're not a fan of Julius and Dongo, you're not a boxing fan. From Russia to the UK to America, that's road warrior stuff, man. How could you not love Julius and Dongo? So shout out to you, Julius. Okay, guys. I'm Michael Montero for Doug Fischer, Mike Baca. We're getting out of here. We'll see you next time on 10 Count.